Global Development Network and its Thai ministry partner, the Sustainable Development Research Foundation, are working hard to bring positive changes to at-risk communities through socioeconomic development, education, healthcare, relief, and leadership development. The leaders of these two organizations seek to address the root problems of marginalization throughout many of the major regions of Thailand and strive to offer life-changing choices that transform communities by helping them overcome barriers which weigh them down. One such initiative is in South Thailand among the exotic islands off Phuket. Located on the island of Koh Yao stands the Phil Keeler Marine Research Institute, or PKMRI. The 2004 tsunami devastated the region. There wasn't a family left unscathed with the loss of a loved one, and the area suffered the loss of fish and resources, which left the population devoid of hope. PKMRI provides hope by creating a platform by which fisheries and livelihoods are restored. PKMRI provides varieties of fish that haven't been seen in abundance in the local waters for years. Through aquaculture, PKMRI nurses these fish to a healthy size, minimizing loss, and makes the fish available for grow-out to the local populations for consumption and marketing. Dr. Jim Gustafson, President of Global Development Network and Director of Sustainable Development Research Foundation's projects, works closely with the PKMRI staff. He explains how things started on the island and the mission of PKMRI.
The SDF got involved on this island back almost 5-6 years ago when the tsunami hit southern Thailand. We came down here and met on this island 3 different communities and chose this community, this large one, which is at the very bottom of the island, which is towards the open sea. Had been devastated and everyone's livelihood had been washed out, and we started to work here by helping them get new nets and cages, help them find fish to raise. And we are now been asked over and over again to stay and to stay and to stay. We finally decided we'd create the Marine Research Institute, which is now the Phil Keeler Marine Research Institute. And it's been in existence for 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. PKMRI embodies Phil Keeler's spirit in two central ways. Phil was a man who had a passion for and a drive for, a concern for, a love for the poor, people that have nothing. And this organization is about poor people, marginalized people, people that are far away from the centers of development and have nothing and need all the help they can get in every way. It embodies his spirit. It is symbolic of Phil Keeler's spirit in that regard. But Phil was also a man of water. He was a waterways person. He was a shoreline person. He was a person concerned with tsunamis around the world. He was a person concerned with the Great Lakes and the shorelines of the Great Lakes. Concerned how water eroded and didn't erode, and how we preserved water and how we preserved land. And this is what we're concerned about, is that preservation of the waterways and the ability to allow those waterways to move and to work and to produce goodness for people. This organization, PKMRI, is the heart and soul of Phil. Socially, in terms of poverty, socioeconomically, in terms of the poverty of people, but always again, the water, the importance of water, and the marine water, and how it impacts people, and how it can be made to work even better and better. The PKMRI is focused right now on nursing white sea bass, and we'll see some white sea bass today that we're growing in cages. It's called commonly in Australia barramundi. It's grown in California. It's grown all over the world, really. Great fish. Lives in brackish water, lives in salt water, lives in fresh water, can live anywhere. And we're raising them and trying to cause an ability for MRI to be able to reach into the villages and help people who are in the local level raise these fish. They raise anywhere from 1,000 to a couple thousand fish a family in nets that float on the open sea. Well, it touches their heart because no one has an interest in them. They cannot find 6-inch fish. If they get 2-inch fish from the local fishery department, all the fish die. They can't begin to raise them. They don't have the facilities to do it. They don't have the ability to do it. And if we're doing it for them, it touches their hearts because it says the PKMRI is concerned about me and me getting the right kind of fish, and no one else in the world really is. That makes a huge difference. ชอบไหมชอบมันจะไปแค่นี้ตีอะไรไหมพูดอะไรไหมดีไหมนี่ดีแล้ว and they need it and
not in brackish water where there's an opportunity for some things to grow.
That's possible. Okay, so we're standing right now on the edge of what they call floating cage systems. Each one of these black net covered areas are big cages that go all the way down 3 meters into the water. We raise fish and they float, and the water comes and goes. It's perfect. And in these cages are a lot of what we call white sea bass or barramundi that the PKMRI is focusing on right now. And we bring them down here at about 3 to 4 inches long after we've nursed them up in the main system on the land where the nursery system is. And they're raised here for about a month and they get to be 6 inches. At 6 inches, we distribute them to the different people that are raising fish. You can see some of the cages where people are raising fish out here even. But they raise them in cages on the water, and they put 100 of those in each cage. Yeah, but there we go. Nice fish. White sea bass. Take a look at them. Swirling around. There you go. Lots of activity. Perfect. นี่ยาวเท่าไหร่คุณว่าหน่อยนะ
อันนี้12 นิ้วไหมประมาณ12 นิ้ว
12 นิ้ว
12 หรือ 13 นิ้วครับ
These are probably 10 inches or more apiece. They're great size. Oh man. Grouper. They're still small. You can see some of them are orange dots, some of them are red dots. The orange dot's a different variety than the red dot, but very similar. And they're called the red-dotted grouper or the estuary grouper. There's here the beautiful fish. They actually raise them in aquariums for beauty when they're smaller. These will get up to 70 centimeters long as well. Beautiful fish. Each one of these is an individual oyster. These are the black-lipped oysters. They're full of slime, and we've got to clean them periodically. But inside is a nucleus that's been glued to the internal shell, and it's being coated by mother of pearl by these oysters. And in a year's time, it'll be a pearl. You see the pearl later as we bring them up. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 oysters in one string. And there's 5 strings between each of these floats. Potential for probably 6,000 oysters in this whole system. These are black-lipped oysters. You can see the reason their name is called that because they have black lips. So that defines the oyster. It's a big oyster. And to make the pearl, we actually take an insert and glue it to the shell on the inside with what do you call it? Instant glue or cement that locks it into place. And over a year, that oyster coats that insert with mother of pearl, and the mother of pearl becomes the pearl, actually. When it's grown a year, then they take this thing and they cut out with the saw. It's a saw that works on this machine here, and they cut out a circular part of that shell, and they pull it out. They pull the shell out. In the back is the insert, and you can see the insert right there. They have to pry the insert out, and they have to fill it with more resin, and then they cut it and put a back on it, a mother of pearl back on it, and they polish it and polish it and polish it until finally they come up with this, a pearl. But today it's moved and branched out to the eastern side of the peninsula, which is Songkhla and Hat Yai and the area over on towards the Gulf of Thailand. This is the Andaman Sea side, that's the Gulf of Thailand side. And we're working with an organization called CHAC, a Center for HIV/AIDS affected communities in Songkhla. And it expands and it's part of the SDRF network within the South to touch the lives of marginalized HIV/AIDS affected people. And it's in like 7 provinces of southern Thailand on the eastern side, but it also actually comes all the way over here and way up above Phuket. So 9 communities, different communities in 7 different provinces that CHAC is working with. And the PKMRI has got a link to CHAC that says we're here in order to help you with the livelihoods of people you're dealing with. And we would like to suggest that we do fish, that we do white sea bass, that we do estuary grouper, that we do pearls possibly in the future, but we do it over there. It's about 500 kilometers away between the two of them. They're separated that much. And it's a tremendous ministry for this organization, PKMRI, to touch CHAC and to enable CHAC to set up a livelihood center. What we're thinking of doing, and we're already in the process of planning right now, is setting up a farm in Songkhla that would raise out white sea bass and estuary grouper, and to help people who are in that condition be able to do that in a way that would help them with their livelihood. It's a big goal. It's not easily realized, but it is a absolutely wonderful goal because it touches people at the point of where they live on the edge of the ocean in a way that's impactful, and will help communities there that are marginalized.